Hey everybody! Today I am going to be going over your staff handbook with you, which I have printed out for almost everybody. I try to conserve some paper by making one staff handbook for a teacher and their TA, one for all of the cafeteria workers, custodians, and so on. So please, if you have another name down here beside yours, know that it is to share with somebody that you work with. When you open it up, you will see that you have my card with my cell phone number at the bottom. On this side of the staff handbook is the actual handbook itself with information, and on this side is the appendix, which are all forms and important documents that you may need through the year. So the reason I'm doing this in a flipped manner today is because I want to conserve time for our staff meeting on Friday in order to give you time to work in your classrooms, because usually when we go over the staff meeting, or in the staff meeting, the handbook, it takes a good 45 minutes. So hopefully this will shorten that somewhat and you can do this on your own time. Due to the amount of time in a video you can upload to YouTube, I'm going to have to do several different videos in order to cover the entire handbook. So if you'll just click through the links and just take your time to watch all of them. As long as you've watched them before August 27th, you can watch them in your own time, and I hope that kind of works better for you and takes some stress off your plate. So now that you have your handbook, if you'll open it up and pull out the information side, we're going to flip through that, go over some of the important things together, and feel free to highlight or notate in it any way that you choose. I printed it off this year only because it's brand new. I've never updated it since I started working here, and this summer I finally took the time to go through it and update everything. So I wanted you all to have a hard copy, and also to know that there will be a copy in our shared drive, and as things inside of the handbook are updated, I will update it in the Google shared drive as well. So you'll notice that you've got the table of contents. And if you will go ahead and start at page 5, one of the things that I want you to either highlight it or underline is that you are expected to be inside your classroom by 7:45 every day. And the reason that is so important to me is because it could become an issue with supervision if we don't have an adult in the classroom before the students get there. So please be sure you're not walking through the front door at 7:45 or the back door, but that you are in your classroom at that point in time, unless you have a morning duty that requires you to be here at 7:30. And then also, if you look at what's bold and highlighted, that staff members are expected, and this includes all staff members, not just teachers, to check your email twice daily. One of the things we'll talk about is that Dr. Morrow has a 24-hour response requirement. That's not only to telephone calls, but also to emails. So you are expected, just as I am, to respond to any email from a parent, a supervisor, a colleague within 24 hours. Staff absences should all be put, if you are certified, in ASOP, and if you are classified, into timekeeper, as soon as you know that you are going to be out. And one of the things that we have a really hard time with is when people put in absences at the last minute in the morning when you know you're sick. Sometimes that's not controllable, but if you know you're sick the night before, go ahead and put in the absence. You can always cancel it in the morning, and we'd rather do that than try and find coverage at the very last minute, which makes things difficult for everybody. Remember that personal leave must be requested 2 weeks prior to its use. And if you will go over to page 6 and highlight or underline one of the last sentences in the first paragraph, that assistants should be working with students 85% of the time. Comp time, of course, is not something that we give to teachers or TAs. And then let's go over to page 7. If students are calling home, we request that they make those phone calls from your classroom unless they are long distance. If you will highlight or underline the second sentence in the next paragraph that is in italics, personal cell phones should not be used when students are present. Now, I understand that sometimes you guys use Dojo and that requires use of your cell phone, or you might be doing videos or pictures, and that's okay, but make sure that you are not taking personal phone calls, personal texts when students are present, you're not on social media, etc. And then one other thing before we stop this segment of the video is if you call a parent, please call the office and let them know that you are expecting a phone call, because very often we'll get a phone call saying, "Who called me from St. James?" and we don't know. So that'll give us some help with redirecting that phone call. So before we go on to parent conferences, I'm going to start a new video.